Hello everyone, how is everyone doing today? So what we're talking more about with these stars is sort of like the left hand and the right hand is what Jupiter and Saturn is. We're looking at Jupiter as more of a pessimistic energy, and we're looking at the Jupiter as the more prosperous energies, because it's like when you're in the church and you're seeing someone, being more condemning. That's more of a Saturn type teaching, or what should I say, the left hand, and the right hand would be more of the prosperous, evangelist, televangelist type preaching stuff. So, but what we're trying to say is between these two planets is lying in like an alignment of what the structure of the Word of God is, pointing toward the head, which is, you can say, the sun. But it's across these coordinates here. You can say um, that's sort of the balance of what it is, the Gog and Magog, sort of our energies that we've been receiving from these planets. So if you look at these alignments, these conjunctions with Pluto, uh, things like that, I mean, it's sort of a distinction on the times and the ages. So it's nothing to be too worried about, because again, there's nothing really out there that can really affect what's in here if you know yourself very well. So knowing yourself is going to be very important for certain times, because again, these certain energies, you don't know how they're going to try to create other things out here. Because again, we've known for a long time that Saturn is representation of who Satan is. Venus is technically the Lucifer energy. Sort of, it's a Venus flytrap, if you will, of energies. Venus is sort of like very pleasant, but at the same time, you really don't know what it's about, if this is a trap or not. But those are just sort of the theories again with the planets and with religion. That's the main idea again, is because of the alignments of the kingdoms, the mountains, 7 mountains, 7 kings, beasts. I mean, within these planets, and that's the thing. To rule the exterior world, it took a certain amount of wickedness, a certain amount of injustice, because the injustice of the material world is what the just needed to be more just, if you will, to fear. But in the new age, we're not going to say the word fear anymore. You said fear the Lord, but the idea is the beginning of knowledge. You see, it's really the fear of the self. At a certain point, you become a lord. It's lordship. I'm just relating back to it. That's what the stars represent. The 7 stars in the planetary system. You get into this lordship, and this doesn't mean salvation, but it means you're going to be practicing how to become a king. Really, a king is someone who is someone who is not only a leader, but he commands the respect of all the stars in the sky. I mean, all the planets again can be aligned where the unjust could receive the just things, like the riches of the world, and where the just people of the world have poverty. But when an alignment comes in, it all switches. You give to Caesar what is Caesar's. You give to the Lord what is His. So it is the poor getting their riches. It is the people, the wickedness, the rulers of the world, receiving their just desserts, basically their more wickedness. Not to dish out more wickedness, but in a way to receive that. So again, if the tables turn, if the stars are aligned a certain way, you don't want to be at the other end of that spectrum. I'm saying, be a good person, because eventually, it goes around, comes around. It's the idea that the solar system had been set in such a way where eventually a different age would set and people would change. We're not living in Ice Age. We're not living in the medieval times. We're not living in those ages where people were more brutal. They had a mentality of destruction, but it was to survive. Idea is, if we still have that mindset, we're trying to actually evolve in our conscious states. That's what this evolution has been about. The planets knew this. Everybody in the star system knew this. These star seeds evolving, like, it was about these people evolving their psychology in their mind, their consciousness. Because if you couldn't evolve here, you never go back to where you were before. you know, you would never be a star again, because you would actually you'd be stuck in the place. You'd be stuck in the way that rulers of the world had shaped it, you know, to control your essence, if you will. But I mean, you're a seed from the stars again. Some of you know this, some of you don't. But its idea was, again, the rulers rulers of the world, they can keep you here. Again, you know, that's the working as a slave thing. Slaves obey your masters, but that was really what Paul meant. But the idea is just to wait on the creative heaven and earth in a sense, because we knew the slavery that we have experienced. Again, every place that had slavery was basically intentional, because they didn't want a certain power to rise up, and you know, these certain rulers in high places, they had a feeling that, you know, if certain people rise up who were in slavery, it would. I'm saying this is not like a physical thing. Again, this is, well, I mean, it is physical, because working in high places, we're talking about, again, like I expressed in the last video, the Anunnaki are such a powerful race. We looked at sort of Mesopotamian lands for Babylon, Assyria, Acadia. I mean, basically, like I said, Acadia, but you looked at even into Egypt. Basically, they're transmuting animals and human species, things like that. Like, that's what Egypt was really about. But the knowledge they received, again, was from out of this world. So traveling with some boats, things like that. I mean, this is the technology, spaceships, UFOs, things like that, because you have to now look at a lot of the things that were set in place in us and outside of us, outside of our world. Like, don't feel like you're being antagonized at all, because again, you just have to take your power back within yourself, and just obey the creator. You might have, again, a different mission, but again, you know, these commandments is about, the better you follow the rules in the exterior world, the better, you know, even in the interior, it's going to treat you. I'm saying, like, these rules that Moses had to follow, that Yeshua had to follow, when he follows these rules, they're able to walk on water, they're able to part the Red Sea because of their obedience. They have power to do these types of things because they know who they are inside of themselves. They know the power that they were created to do. Said the captives free, the whole captivity captive, because the reason why you're looking at captivity, you're looking at some of the beings within the stars. You're looking at those types of rulers, and those types of rulers don't really know that the sun controls the solar system. It's the sun in the middle of the solar system. You know, look at the crucifixion again. You're looking at the points, the coordinates of where each planet could point. They can point around the sun. The sun is in the center of it all. When the sun can so shine, it can flare this way and that way. And that's why these other planets have to be very careful, because they don't know about the sun. So it might get a little bit colder, of course, or it might get a little bit hotter, but I'm saying, be a good person, because again, this sun is angry. Like, we're like, the planets can't be sentient, but yeah, I mean, all the planets have some sort of energy, a life force, feminine or masculine energy. But the point about these planets, they're very, very serious about, you know, their business. I can't leave it enough, because again, even some of these stars have sinned against God. Like I said, with Saturn, it's been very unjust. Jupiter has sort of pretended to be a deity in a way. They put a lot of deities within Jupiter, but I'm not gonna badmouth Jupiter, because they have a lot of good energies or whatever that they send, but they've been giving it to the wrong people. I'm just saying that the sun can tell these stars where to align. Basically, the sun can very well just say, you know, this is where the stars will go, this is where the stars will be placed, because, and this is who you give the blessings to, because this is who you give your curses to, because again, they've been very unjust and they've been very unfair, these stars. So I mean, we look at these lying stars. I mean, all I can say is, like, take your power back. For the most part, remember that, again, I'm hoping again that the people don't have, you know, murderous hearts, because I'm hoping that the stars have caused all this, because that would be the only way. I'm serious. If the Lord would come down, that we wouldn't be smited right now. Because I know, I'm not to make you scared or anything, but I'm saying, like, I'm really hoping that the stars have been doing this whole time, because that way, you know, all is forgiven. And that's what the New Testament was trying to say. It was trying to say, you know, it's the stars' fault. And for the most part, I can't blame all of them, because some of them didn't do too bad, but some of them kind of messed up a little bit, you know, and it shows. But for the most part, we get the car started because it's getting hot in here. But remember, internally, you know, it's like peanut butter and chocolate. It's the mix of it all, because if you just figure out who you are, again, don't let a star control you, because they have bad intentions, and they have some bad intentions. And whether it's in Pluto or, you know, whatever it is, you have control. You have power over the stars. You can put energies inside of the stars, intentions inside of the stars. So this is what you were created to do by the Creator. Again, this is not the truth that not a lot of people know, again, with this alignment happening December 21st of this year. But there was one in January between Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter. So that alignment sort of led to another pandemic. I mean, it led to a pandemic. So again, whatever they're planning, it's not going to really affect you, because you have seal on your forehead. So again, the sun can tell the stars, again, where to shine. It controls the orbits of these beings. So again, it is what it is, but I know Most High is in control. Let's put it that way. All right, everyone. See you later.